last time, and we're going to do numbers 6, 8, and 10, right? Or no, 5, 8, and 10, sorry. So number 5. Well, be careful. See, we're trying to get the square term all by itself, right?
Yeah.
So, what do I need to move first?
6.
Good. That's a positive 6 right now. How do I move a positive 6?
Subtract it.
Good. So then that goes away. And then we have negative x squared over 8 equals negative 10. Yes? All right. I'm still trying to get to this x squared.
You multiply reciprocal.
Good. We multiply by the reciprocal. Since the 8 is down here, goes up.
Yeah.
And let's bring the negative as well. So we'll say negative 8. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other side. So then that goes away. And then we have x squared equals 80, right? Now, guys, my goal is to get this x all by itself, right? Good. Get rid of that square by square rooting. But remember the rule. When you draw the square root, you have to put what?
Positive and negative.
Good. Plus or minus. So then those go away. Then you have x equals plus or minus. Guys, square root of 80, I think we need to break this down.
Yeah.
80 breaks down to what and what?
8 and 10.
Okay, 8 and 10. You were going to say that too? Okay, well, you could do that. Well, 8 breaks down into 2 times 4. And 10 breaks down. I keep saying 2 and 5. So out of these 4 numbers, which one can I keep breaking down?
The 4.
The 4. 2 is a prime number, 2 is a prime number, and 5 is a prime number, right? So you bring down this 2. This 4 becomes a 2 times 2. I bring down that 2, and I bring down that 5, right? So now how many do I need to have in a group in order for it to come out? 2. There's one. There's another one. So that means that 2 comes out, and another 2 comes out, and then we have a square root of 5. Yeah? So it's 4 root 5. So basically, we're rewriting square root of 80 to 4 root 5. Yeah? Plus or minus 4 root 5. Questions? All right. Well then, let's look at number 8. I think 8 is easier. Okay, so with this one, you're still trying to get the squared term all by itself, and it's this guy right here. Okay? So what do I need to do first? No, you don't want to distribute.
Subtract.
Add. Is that what you said? Add what? Good. Add this 50 first. What's negative 50 plus 50?
0.
0. So remember, guys, I'm still trying to get this square term all by itself. All right, what do I need to do? Huh? Divide by 5. Excuse me, thank you. So then that goes away, right? Then you have x minus 1 squared equals, wait, what's 0 divided by 5?
0.
0. All right, so now I have my square term all by itself. I need to solve for that x. But remember, you can't go breaking into the parentheses until you get rid of that square on the outside. How do you get rid of that square? Good, square root it. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other side, right? What was the rule? When you draw the square root, you have to put plus or minus. And so these guys cancel out, and then you have x minus 1 equals, plus or minus 0? Is there a negative 0? Is there a positive 0? No, it's just 0, right? So we put plus or minus, but with the 0, you don't really need it, right? So now we add the 1, because remember, we're still trying to solve for this x, right? Add the 1. What's 1 plus 0? There you go. And technically, I guess it's like a 1 plus 0 and a 1 minus 0. You actually have that twice, right? This is a double root, okay? But you could just put x equals 1. That's the solution, all right? All right, let's look at number 10, the last one in our warm-up. All right, this one is a good one. Guys, we're trying to get this guy all by itself, the square term, right? What do we need to do? Add the 3, good. Then we have x plus 1 squared equals 25. Now what? Good, square root it. And when you draw the square root, you have to put plus or minus. So then those go away. Then you have x plus 1 equals plus or minus. What's the square root of 25? 5. Now, guys, remember, you're trying to solve for that x. So what do you have to do? Good, subtract the 1. Remember what I said? When you add or subtract something and the other side already has a plus or minus, where does this go? Yeah, in front, right? It goes in front of the plus or minus. So then you have x equals negative 1 plus or minus 5. Do me a favor though, don't just leave it like this. You know what this is saying to you? No? This is saying negative 1 plus 5 and negative 1 minus 5, right? The plus or minus is telling you two different operations. All we did was we just smushed it up and wrote it in one, right? So with this, we would need to say negative 1 plus 5 equals. And then the other side, negative 1 minus 5 equals. Okay? You do need to simplify it. So if you don't give me the two answers, I'm going to take off like half a point. What is negative 1 plus 5? 4. And what's negative 1 minus 5? Negative 6. So, because we're so fancy, here we go. In our solution set, right? X equals negative 6 and 4. Yeah? Alright, so let's check our homework. Homework completion does not look very good, guys. We need to get this done, okay? Remember, that's the practice that you get. Alright, so today, guys, we're going to talk about the quadratic formula, solving using the quadratic formula. Here's the good news. Oh, two pieces of good news. One, this is not new. Why? Because you did this in Algebra 1, yes?
Yeah.
Good news number 1. Good news number 2. You can use this to solve any quadratic equation. This always works, okay? The bad news is that it's a pretty lengthy process, okay? But you know that because you saw it in Algebra 1.
Yeah.
So remember, the standard form of a quadratic should be this. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is x equals opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. There's a Pop Goes the Weasel song that goes with this quadratic formula. Because you guys are going to have a 4-day weekend, why don't you go on YouTube? Entertain yourselves. Go on YouTube, look up quadratic formula, Pop Goes the Weasel song. It's pretty catchy. Yeah, but listen, if you want to know what it is, go on and YouTube it. YouTube quadratic formula songs. It's pretty amazing. All right. So here are the steps. Here's the first equation. 3x squared plus 8x minus 3 equals 0. Now, the first thing you want to do is put it in standard form. Make sure it's ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Is it? Yeah. Okay, so we'll just copy it over. Now, identify your A, B, and C. Okay, word of advice. A, B, and C is never a variable. You should never tell me that it's x. They're always numbers. Okay? So, A equals, B equals, and C equals. What is A?
3x squared.
No. Listen to me. A, B, and C are always numbers. Don't ever give me the x's. Right?
3, 8, and negative 3.
A is 3. What is B?
8.
8. Positive 8, right? And what is C?
Minus 3.
Good. Negative 3.
X squared minus 8.
Because I'm sick. I know. I'm actually, I'm sick. So, sorry. All right. So, number 3, plug it into the formula, right? So, x equals opposite b. What's the opposite of your b? Negative 8. Plus or minus the square root of. Guys, when you plug in your b, a, and c inside your square root, anything that you plug in, put it in parentheses, please. So your b is 8. Put that in parentheses, then square. Minus 4, a, parentheses, c, parentheses. All over 2a. Okay? All right. So here's what you have from the line before. I'm actually going to shrink it down just a little bit. Okay. So step 4 says simplify the b squared minus 4ac. Guys, where is that? Where is that b squared minus 4ac? Inside the square root. Thank you. So, you know all this that you wrote inside the square root? You're going to put that into the calculator. Don't put the square root. Just put the stuff inside. So the 8 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 3. Tell me what you get. Huh? Okay, let's see if anyone else gets that. What did you get, Sabrina? Do we agree with Kevin? Yeah? Ethan, did you get that too? Perfect. You should. You should get 100. Right? So guys, this is what you're doing. You're taking the square, this quadratic formula, and you're basically shrinking it down to make it smaller, right? So let's see, we have the x equals -8 plus or minus square root of, now what number goes in there? 100 over, what's 2 times 3? 6, right? You know what? I'm sorry. You can write this. Oh no. You can write this over here if you like. Okay, you can write that right in here. Okay. But step 5 says to simplify the square root. Well, that means you need to go and take just that square root part and we're going to simplify it. We're going to break it down. Yeah. You know, square root of 100 is a perfect square, isn't it? If you put that into the calculator, put in square root of 100, which you should always do. Check and see if it's a perfect square. You get 10, right? That means the square root part, it went away. So now this just became x equals -8 plus or minus 10 over 6. Does that make sense? And you can make a note for yourselves. I'll star square root of 100 equals 10. All right? Exclamation, because we're happy to know that. Right, Sydney? Now, step 6 says divide 2a to everything and simplify. Well, you know what I mean by everything? It means we can actually break this guy up. So x equals -8 plus or minus 10 all over 6, which means this is over 6 and that is over 6. Does that make sense? All right. And I like to break it apart there because it's so easy to simplify one and not the other one.
And do you want the answers for that and all from that?
No, you want to, well, okay, let's see. Let's take this guy. Sometimes. Let's do it another time. All right. So I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to look at step 7. Right? So I'm here. I have this from my last step. It says, step 7, if there is no radical left, square root left, find your 2 final answers. Step 8 says, if there is a square root left, try to simplify all your fractions. Guys, do we have a square root? No. So that means I don't need this one. I'm looking at step 7. Does that make sense? If there is no square root left, just like ours, then find your 2 final answers. Okay, what does that mean? That means x equals -8/6 plus 10/6. Right? The plus part, and then there's a minus part. So x equals -8/6 minus 10/6. Does that make sense? Anyone lost? Yeah? Okay. So you know how this was my step before, right? Okay. So this plus, oops, plus and minus, that tells me 2 different operations, basically. So do you see like a square root? Was there a square root left over anywhere here? No. So that's why I crossed out step 8. Because step 8 says if you have a square root left, this is what you need to do. But we don't, right? So we're looking at step 7 and it says if you don't have a square root left, then find your 2 final answers. That means -8/6 plus the 10/6 from the plus or minus. And then you have a -8/6 minus a 10/6 from the plus or minus. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, we'll try another one too. Okay? So now that I have both of these, guys, you can put these into the calculator. Remember, fractions get parentheses, so just make sure you put these in parentheses. Give me a parentheses answer, please.
I was gonna ask if we're done, but I'm like,
So you get -3 for one of them. Which one? What is the other one? Are you putting this in, Abner? All you have to do is just move your fingers. Move your fingers. Move your fingers. Type it into the calculator.
you just said Nicole 5 seconds ago.
All right, do math, enter, enter. Good. 1/3.
Wait, there's only one X?
So your answers are -3 and 1/3. Thank you. Thank you, everyone except Abner. All right, let's try the next one, guys. The next one's a little bit different.
Wait, did we flip over?
No, it's next to it. It's right next to it. Okay, so your steps for this one. 6p squared plus 3 equals 8p. Is this in standard form? No. So what do we need to do?
Move the 3.
No, move your 8p, right? We want to make this equal to 0. So this is 6p squared minus 8p plus 3 equals 0. Do you agree?
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's identify our A, B, and C. A equals, B equals, and C equals. Guys, what is A? Thank you. What is B? Perfect. And what is C? Good. Now, let's plug it into the formula. X equals opposite B. My B right now is a -8. Opposite that is positive, right? Plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Yes? Okay. Now, in the next part, it says simplify your B squared minus 4AC. Guys, put this into the calculator. Tell me what you get. Don't put in the square root, right? Just the stuff that's inside the square root. So B squared minus 4AC equals what? -80? Anyone else get -80? -136? What'd you get? -8? You should have -8. Let's see what happens. So, guys, we need to go to the calculator. All right. What did I say? Did I say put in the square root?
Yeah, it's -8.
You do not put in the square root. Just put in the stuff inside the square root. Uh-oh. Did you put -8 in parentheses? Squared minus 4 times A times C. Yeah? Parentheses, guys. You should have -8. Okay? Kevin, did you see where you... Okay. So you should have -8. So now it says simplify the square root. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to copy it over. X equals B plus opposite B plus or minus square root of -8 all over was 2A. 12. So square root of negative 8, well then, guys, that means we're doing this thing. There's a negative inside the square root, so what comes out? An I. Alright, so I root 8. How do you break down 8? 4 and 2, thank you. I can't break down that 2 anymore, but I can break down the 4, right? 2 times 2 times 2. So, what comes out? A 2, because there's a same group, right? So 2 comes out. What was already out? An I. And what stays in? The 2. Okay? So when I go back to rewrite this, I would say x equals 8 plus or minus 2I root 2 over 12. Does that make sense? I took this guy, the square root of negative 8, yeah? And when I simplified it out, I got this, so I just replaced it with the simplified version. Okay? Any questions so far? Alright. So then step 6 says divide your 2a to everything. This is where we break it apart, right? So I have x equals 8 plus or minus 2I root 2 all over 12. That means this guy gets an over 12 and that one gets an over 12. Yeah?
See, 12 is 75%. That's like 3.
Well, so, okay, let's look at this. Guys,
That's 2/3.
step 7 says, if there is no square root left. Is there a square root left?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there, right? 2I square root 2. So we don't need this one. Step 7 is out, right? Because this one says, when you use it when there's no square root. Step 8, though, it says, if there is a square root left, you just try to simplify all of your fractions. Okay, we can do that.
It's 2/3.
Okay, 8 over 12. Oh, you know what? Then I'll just rewrite it now. You guys are all telling me. That's what, 2/3? Plus or minus. FYI, these outside numbers, can you even see that?
Well,
You just multiply them.
No, you divide, you simplify them. What is 2 over 12? No, what does it, what fraction does it simplify to? You're right about 6, but what is it?
1/6.
So 1/6, but what's still on top?
Do the square root thing.
I root 2. You can't simplify the inside number 2 with this outside, okay? You can only simplify the outside numbers.
So
Alright?
that's just how it's gonna be. And then you put the 1 plus and 1 minus with both of those.
No. I mean, you can leave it like this. You could say 2/3 plus or minus. Do I need to put the 1 in front of the I? No. The I root 2 over 6. And here we go. And you can't break this apart because can you combine those two together? No. Right? You have a real number and you have an imaginary number part. So no. Okay? Questions about this? All right, that's enough time to keep going. All right. So here's the part that is kind of new for you this year. We're going to learn about something called the discriminant. Okay? You've done this? Well, if you've done this, great. The discriminant is just b squared minus 4ac. Okay? That's the discriminant. So guys, you have to memorize this. Okay? If you plug in your b squared minus 4ac and you get a number that's greater than 0, meaning any number that's positive, okay? I don't care what the number is as long as it's a positive number, all right? Then that tells you that your equation has two real solutions. All right? However, when you plug in b squared minus 4ac and you get 0 exactly, then that means that your equation has one real solution. Right? And third option, if you plug in b squared minus 4ac and you get a number that's less than 0, wait a minute, what kind of numbers are less than 0? Negative. If you get a negative number, I don't care what the number is, if it's just negative, then it means that your equation has two imaginary solutions. Okay? So a positive is 2 real, 0 is 1 real, and a negative is 2 imaginary. Can you memorize that? All right, you have to. All right. So here's the fun part. If they tell you, and you have to read the directions carefully, okay? If it says find the discriminant and give the number and the type of solutions, you have to tell me 1 real, 2 imaginary. That's all I want, okay? So if I look at A, you still have to put it in standard form, and you gotta get your A, B, and C. Guys, what is A for my example A?
X squared.
Ah!
X. 1.
1. Remember, no X's for the A, B's, and C's. Like having a 1 there in front of that X squared. What is the B? Negative 6. What is C? 10. So guys, plug in the discriminant. B squared minus 4AC. Let's plug that guy in. B squared minus 4AC. What do you get here? Are you doing this? Come on, focus. If you plug that into the calculator, what do we get?
-4.
Negative 4. Good. Guys, it's a negative number. What does that tell me? How many and what type of solutions? Negative, then it has
2 imaginary.
2 imaginary. Okay. Let's do the same thing for B. All right, it's already in standard form. It's equal to 0. A equals 1. What is B? And what is C? All right, let's find the discriminant. What do we get? 0. Good. You should get 0. So if we have zeros, our discriminant, what does that mean about the number type of solution?
Then the equation has one real solution.
Good. One real solution. Good. All right, let's look at C. Wait a minute, this only has two terms. What is this one missing? The A, the B, or the C? Huh? C. C is a -3. The B. So you have the 7r squared, you have the -3 without a variable. You need the one that's just a regular r, right? If you don't have it, you could always write it in. If it's not there, then it's a 0r, isn't it? Right?
You wouldn't put a 1?
No, because 1 is something.
Oh,
0
yeah.
is nothing. It's nothing because it's not written there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, what is A,
7,
B,
0.
and C? Good. -3. Let's plug it in. B squared minus 4AC equals what? 84. Wait, that's a positive number? So what does that tell me about the number? Thank you. Too real. I think this looks like a good stopping place because we're running out of time. Unfortunately,